Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a review of a gangster film from Mexico, Spanish language English subs, released in the year 2010, directed by Luis Estrada, and this movie is called El Narco. And the story to El Narco is as follows. Drugs, guns, violence, death. Mexico today is a world where ruthless cartels operate beyond the reach of the law, and where a bloody fate awaits if you don't watch your step. Deported to Mexico after 20 years as an illegal in the USA, Benny Garcia returns to the tranquility he left behind in this sleepy rural town, or so he thinks. Much has changed, and opportunities to earn an honest living are few. So the movie starts off with Benny Garcia. He has left Mexico and he wants a better life in the USA. 20 years pass, and he has been sent back because he's been staying in the USA illegally. So he comes back home to what he believes is peace and tranquility, but things have changed in the last 20 years, and Mexico is now a crime haven. So he gets back to the town and he realizes that to make a good living, to make a lot of money, an honest living is few and far between. So he's going to have to go into crime to make amends. So when he gets back home, he realizes that his brother had been murdered. So he's absolutely livid about this. And when he realizes the world that his brother was in, he unknowingly starts to drift into that world as well. And so he's got no other option. The desperation is there, so he mixes in with the wrong people, and therefore his life and the lives of his family are in grave danger. So what happens at that point on? There's something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now, my thoughts on El Narco. This was actually a pretty good gangster film. Now, Mexico has been torn apart by the drug trade, and you guys know that. You hear it on the news, and I thought, there are a few Mexican films that document this in their films, and I think it's a little bit unfair because when you associate something with Mexico, it's always drugs, and all the films coming out of Mexico seem to be about this sort of thing. So it's a very real message, but this movie was a little bit different because it does blend a little bit of comedy in there as well, so you feel to yourself that it's not taking itself too seriously. So I actually thought this is a very, very well made film. The cinematography is excellent. It captures the harsh life of Mexicans, and as I said, it also has that light-hearted approach which kind of just elevates it beyond a serious film. It makes it kind of a fun gangster film. It has all the gangster formula where people betray each other. You've got these snitches in there, and the executions. It is a very brutal film. I thought that some of the violence was very hard hitting. I was happy to see that it wasn't excessive to the point where it was glorifying it. I actually thought it showed violence for what it is, and that is very nasty. I thought the acting was fantastic. They had a lot to play with in their characters. I thought the script was phenomenal. As I said, the script is a little bit funny here and there, so you can connect with the characters. Even the bad guys have some likable qualities in there, so it's not too serious, as I said before. The violence, as I said, is very hard hitting, and it does show you the harsh reality that Mexicans face. And I actually thought the attitudes towards the USA was actually pretty funny as well. Now, the music was fantastic, typical Mexican sort of music. It kind of feels like it loves Mexico, but then it's showing you the what Mexico has become and how sad it is, because as documented in this film, the main characters have no other choice but to go into crime because there's just no other money lying around. You try to make an honest living, you're not going to make enough to support your family. So it does show you how sad it is that these people have to go in. And when Benny Garcia, the main character, when he is contemplating what to do, he realizes that going into the gangster world is his only option, otherwise his family are going to starve. So on one hand, you've got a guy who's trying to do the right thing, but then he's been swept up in this drug trade because of the lure of easy money. So Benny Garcia was a fantastic character. As I said, you can relate to him. He starts off as a very naive kind of guy. He doesn't know exactly what's going on, but then as the movie goes along, he starts to become a different person. You can see that transformation, and I actually feel that not only is it Benny Garcia's transformation, it's Mexico's transformation as well. So it's a movie that is documenting problems from a country that I feel is a good country, but it's just been held up into this really nasty sort of drug trade where the drug cartels are doing everything at will. The movie shows you that even the police are, a little bit crooked, so you don't really know where to go to for safety, and that's the hellish sort of atmosphere that this movie has, is that even the guys that you associate with being good aren't so good. And so when bad things start to happen, you feel that these characters have nowhere to go. And it's like being trapped in a little bubble, a very claustrophobic bubble of violence. And it really feels like the drug cartels are running everything. So if you betray them or if you insult them, don't show them any respect, you're going to pay the worst price possible. So the movie documents that excellently well. I thought the pacing of the film is my problem. It goes for an hour and 23 minutes. And I felt that, the character development at the start was really good. But then it gets to about the halfway stage and it feels like it's getting a little bit repetitive. It's like these people talking, there's a betrayal, there's an execution. People talking, betrayal, execution. And it feels like, yeah, the director has taken the time to build something of a solid platform, but then halfway through it starts to get a little bit repetitive and you think to yourself, well, this is deja vu. I've seen this before. It feels like it's just recycling things to make it a long film. And by the end of it, you feel to yourself, well, that could have been cut down considerably and it would have been an even better film because it would have got to the point and it wouldn't have had to recycle as much as it actually does. I thought the ending was decent, but unfortunately with the ending, I felt it was a little bit rushed. I thought it didn't really match the overall patience that the movie had at the start and at the middle. But then, yeah, the last quarter of the film seemed a little bit rushed. It seems like they were kind of hurrying to finish it, which was a disappointment because it showed patience throughout the rest of the movie. So the hurried finish kind of does, halter it a little bit as far as being a sensational film. But, considering that the characters were fantastic, you invest your time in the characters, you like the story, it paints a real picture of what Mexico is today and how dangerous the drug cartels can be, and just how hopeless situation can be. All of that combined makes it a very good film, but unfortunately the negatives of being a little bit repetitive towards the end and a rushed ending prevent it from being a brilliant film. But having said that, if you're a fan of gangster movies, El Narco is definitely one to check out because I thought it was funny, it was very eye-opening, and it was actually pretty sad as well. So overall, El Narco is definitely a worthwhile attempt, and I'm going to give it 4 stars. Alright guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.